Today at Cleveland Hopkins Airport, a celebration of America's first black military pilots and the Northeast Ohio heroes among them.
So back in February, I showed you how a local nonprofit teamed up with local students in Cleveland to tell the service members' stories through art. And I followed through covering the students' art exhibition and now the official unveiling honoring the Tuskegee Airmen. The names, stories, and faces of some of the original Tuskegee Airmen from Northeast Ohio.
Their spirit is here. Their spirit is amongst us.
Now fill space in baggage claim at Cleveland Hopkins Airport. The Cleveland Heroes Project by the North Coast chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, Inc., a moment for travelers to pause.
To realize the contributions that African American men and women have made to this country from its onset.
Thomas Cargill's father, Gilbert, is featured, one of the dozens of portraits handcrafted by students at the Cleveland School of the Arts. Back in February, I showed you things coming into focus. What do you think about that portrait that the student did when you look at it?
That student got a little bit of my father's life experience. And as a consequence of that, now they're a historian. They're really kind of an appendage to my family now.
Second Lieutenant Gilbert Cargill, an Oberlin native, trained nearly all of the Tuskegee pilots who carried out combat missions during World War II, when segregation was legal and many doubted the abilities of African Americans.
The war in Europe could have ended earlier if segregation in the armed forces was not imposed.
Philip Tibbs came from Florida to see the mural in person. Some of the photos his father, Salem native Sergeant Howard Tibbs, took during Tuskegee training are part of the project. How proud are you today of this project?
Very proud, and extremely long overdue.
Lori Lane came from Virginia. Her father, Captain Earl Lane, grew up in Wickliffe and flew P-51 Mustangs during the war.
I understand the sacrifice that he went through, fighting for a country that didn't fight for him. And that gives me more respect, more honor for everyone and everyone he was with.
That same sense of respect is something that student Chloe Brand feels also.
All these airmen were very determined, and it's important to acknowledge their history.
This was her portrait of Captain Irwin Lawrence Jr. about 8 months ago. Here it is now of the Clevelander who saw combat in both North Africa and Italy.
I'm glad that people can see it and be willing to learn about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Service members who transformed the military and civil rights history.
It's just great. This is such a privilege.
So the Tuskegee Airmen's achievements helped to end racism in the military. In 1948, President Truman issued an executive order desegregating the U.S. Armed Forces. And this is a tribute to all who were a part of that training there at Tuskegee. About 14,000 to 19,000 men and women were a part of the program. So yeah, like navigators, mechanics, nurses, and many others. So this is phase one of the project. Their plan is to put more portraits up in that baggage claim area.
It's fabulous, and it just reminded again how wonderful that artwork is by those students. And I love seeing that woman hanging on to the picture
Photo
of her
dad.
father.
Yeah. People came from
cool.
near and far to see that today.